Hi guys, this is Chaplin. Long time not see me talking in front of the camera. So currently I'm at my dorm and it is winter break, but I think due to the COVID-19 situation, Omicron, in Chicago we're gonna extend our winter break, so we'll see. But anyways, you guys are in your college application season and who cares whether your Chicago is gonna have an extended holiday or not. Today I really want to share with you guys some of the thoughts and ideas I hope that you guys can go through if some of you are planning to ED2 Chicago or other schools like Johns Hopkins, Vanderbilt, or Emory and stuff. Because I feel like a lot of my friends during my last year college application didn't think through those things well, and they ED to some other school, and they waste some chances. So throughout this whole video, I'm going to talk through first some questions that I hope that you guys can think over, and then I'm going to share with you guys my own experience and rationale of picking U Chicago as my own decision to school. Okay, so the first question is, do you really have a chance of getting in? So stats, extracurriculars, essays. If you got 1,400 in SAT, do you really want to apply for U Chicago? Especially if you're an econ major or CS major, really popular major that require high stats, or your extracurriculars. If you're applying for U Chicago, you should have extracurriculars that show some sort of nerdiness, love for knowledge, love for expression, things like that. If you consult your teachers and consult your whatever friends or whatever, and if they think that it shows some type of those kind of features, you can apply. But if you don't, I really suggest you to evaluate your materials well and have a better understanding of yourself, because I believe a lot of my friends during the application process, especially early decision 2 and early decision 1, they apply for schools that are almost unreachable for them, and at the end of the day it's just one more rejection letter. So it's better to think over things well first and then apply for things. So the second question I would love you guys to ask yourself is, will you regret if you got admitted in another school? So I believe a lot of people just early decision to one school just for the sake of it has a better chance of getting in, and that's exactly what my friend did. One of my friend applied to NYU early decision 2 for film directing, and during the RD round he also got into Johns Hopkins. He was so sad when he got the admission letter from Johns Hopkins, and he was like, I really want to go, but it's early decision 2, it's binding, and our school would never let him go to Johns Hopkins. So it's just like a balance. It's really an economic question. So would you like to forego the higher chance of getting in for a better decision? Would you like to take the responsibility of risking yourself and go through a lot of mental struggles in order to have a better chance of, oh my god, my sound. So would you like to go through a lot of mental struggles in order to, make a choice that you would not regret in the long term? Say, got admitted to Johns Hopkins. Before that, you don't have any chance of knowing whether you'll go to that school, So the thing that you might want to ask yourself is that, is U Chicago or other schools really a dream school for you? This kind of leads to my next question, is this really my dream school, or something that came up with anxiety in the public? A lot of people will tell Chinese students to apply to UPenn or a UPenn business school, NYU Stern. These are the prominent ones because they're the best business schools, but a lot of people are just not people who like to do business. There are a lot of people who just don't know where to apply to because they didn't think over things that much. So I really want to think over, is this school having the major that I like? If I like biochem, if I like medicine, probably JSU, If you like molecular engineering, if you like economics, probably U Chicago, Yeah, so think over things does this school really offer the, resources that you would love to do in the future? There are a lot of videos on YouTube teaching you how to, get this whole school list, so I don't need to repeat over things. But yeah, definitely think over those things again, especially for this binding round, Do they have the best choice for you to do it? Will you regret if you got admitted to other schools? Ask yourself 1,000 times, please. Okay, so the fourth question is there similar people in my school that are also applying to this school? Because I'm not sure whether this is the same case for US schools, but I know for international kids, because the positions available for international kids are limited, usually admissions officers won't take more than 1 or 2 kids at the same school to that particular school. For example, U Chicago usually just admit one student in my class every year. I mean, in my school every year. Might be different for, more prestigious competitive school, but you really need to evaluate your school's own reputation and your classmates who are also applying for that school. And like a really extreme case I have is an example that I know. I think they're from Shanghai. They are a team of people doing economics. They go through the same competitions. They're applying for the same. They're always playing in team. So basically, they're having like the same results in competitions. They're in the same school. They have same majors. So when they apply for the same schools, people evaluate them, and there's really not much of a difference, I guess. Or there might be other difference other than like stats and competitions, but it's really hard because for people having almost the same thing at the same time, so it might be like it's really good for one student and he might get like everything, and for the other people in the team they might get nothing, or they might just not get admitted to like the better schools because they evaluate them at the same time. So if you're like using early decision too, this kind of binding, and you're like trying to chase after your school that might be like relatively hard for you, you want to make sure that this thing, having really similar applicant at the same time for that school is not happening. So you need to talk, you need to know who's applying for that school. You might want to make suggestions, at the end of the day, you guys just want to get into a school that's like reachable and fits you and make you happy. It's almost like the prisoner's dilemma, you really need to talk in order to get to the optimal point. If you don't like talk with each other, it's kind of like killing each other. So please talk, communication, negotiation. Let's go. Economics is life. Yeah, and the last question I hope you guys consider is, some people might think that early decision 2 or early decision is just a thing that helps you to have a higher chance of getting to a nice college. What they think they can do is that they go to this nice college first, and then they will transfer into a better college like during their first year or something like that. But that's definitely not the case, because I feel like you really need to pick a school that fits you. So for example, for UChicago, what we have is core curriculum, which is basically you need to take a few courses in different fields like social sciences, civilization, humanities, biological sciences in order to fit the major requirement. And you might think, I can take specialization course in second year or third year or whatever, but that's not the case. You have to take humanities in the first year. So if you're not one that likes to learn everything in every field, you might suffer a lot, because for humanities course, like the UChicago humanities course, for the core curriculum are really hard. We have like Greek and Roman, poetry, reading cultures, media aesthetics, reading critical essays on a lot of things. The notorious one, philosophical perspective, which a lot of people love. But anyways, what I want to say is you might suffer because this school might have a lot of things that you didn't anticipate that would not fit you, and you will spend a whole year in this school. So don't take this first year choice as some like random place that you'll live for just 1 year. That's just simply not the case. So think over things, please. So if I want to share my story, when I got admitted to Cambridge right before the early decision of UChicago came out, and the night when I got admitted to Cambridge, I was really thinking about like whether I should withdraw UChicago application, because Cambridge, from Asia's perspective, is generally better than UChicago, because UChicago is like almost, let's say, not as prestigious, or let's say well known in Asian job market, Asian's parent stereotype, and things like that. But what I know from like deep inside my heart is like UChicago is the school that I really, really want to get admitted to, because they have like the best resources in economics. There are a lot of people doing economics there. They have a lot of professors offering, research opportunities there, and they have Richard Taylor, and their course is tailored to both macro and microeconomics. And also they have like 4 tracks, A, B, business, data science, specialization. They have things that I can use to tailor into my specific field that I would love to learn about, behavioral economics. However, Cambridge is more or less like a really, really mathematical intense as well as macro tailored economics course. So what you'll learn is mostly macroeconomics and really math intensive, which is really not what I want to do. there is a like huge gap between what they're teaching as well as and behavior economics. What people do most of the times is, you know, study, taking tests. However, in the US, you get to like more applicable things, like you have RSOs, you have jobs, you have really different sorts of aspects to evaluate yourself as a person. So I really prefer that more. So even though like Cambridge is a really, really good school, I would not forego the bind by Chicago for this school. So after that night, I think I didn't withdraw Chicago. I hope that I got in, and I got in. This is really happy, and that is my rationale. So if you guys want to listen to like the more comprehensive rationale of picking Chicago and Cambridge, I have another video on that if you guys would like to check it out. And yeah, that's basically my story, and I hope that you guys can think over your decisions really well before you submit your application materials for the second round, and wish you good luck.